This is Ron Klopfanstein, and you're on the hot seat on a Media Monday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the hot seat on this Media Monday. What an exciting show I have today. I have two guests who are so different, such different approaches. We're going to talk to, later on the show, we're going to meet Charles Howard. He's a digital creator and a rapper who's known as Mr. Chat. We're going to talk all about his work, his process, and how to book him and what he's doing out there with his art. But first, we're going to talk to Sue Litera. She is the CEO and Executive Director of the United Way of the Mohawk Valley, which has been very busy lately, obviously, with the tornado in Rome and all the repair work and so many other things that you're doing. We had Jack has been on the show before, and Jack was here with Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah.
Yes. So tell me a little bit, how are things going in Rome?
First I just have to say I'm so glad that I'm not following Charles, because I'm quite certain everybody's going to be a lot more interested in him than me.
I think you're going to do great. Quite a build up there.
Yeah. Rome is working on rebuilding. We were there Saturday for the parade, and a very, very rainy parade.
Yeah.
But really, Rome is solid and Rome's strong. It was impressive to see how many people were out there despite the rain, despite everything that community's been through. There's a lot of rebuilding that needs to happen. And I know that you helped us promote 211 and our Unmet Needs Fund, which we're appreciative of. And, we were able to raise about $41,000 through that.
Wow.
And, we sent about $36,000 to Rome, and the remaining balance we sent over to Canastota because they had some devastation and a fatality. So they're working on the rebuild, and we worked in collaboration with Community Foundation and the county and the YMCA of the Tri-Valley. So a real true collaborative effort, which is what United Way embodies. Collaboration.
Right. And so you, Canastota, you help them too.
Yeah.
How big is your coverage for the United Way of the Mohawk Valley?
So we technically cover Oneida and Herkimer counties.
Okay.
So we don't technically cover Madison County, but we felt an obligation to help out there because we do run programs there. We run our 211 program, our Ride United program, and housing. So we're really actively involved in the community, and the need was great.
So what are some of those needs that you saw, like in the immediate aftermath of the tornado? What were some of the most pressing needs?
I will say I've never had so many conversations about tree removal and debris removal.
Oh, yeah, right.
That was, I think, the most immediate. Well, the most immediate was shelter, obviously. And so in both Rome and Canastota, our local Red Cross has got people sheltered at the VFW and over at the hangar at Griffiths, so that people had immediate support. And Connected Community Schools, of course, was supplying food as well as others, but they were really gangbusters with it. And then it really kind of led into when people were able to either return to their homes or found more temporary permanent housing. How do we clean up the debris? And, making sure that we worked in collaboration with a coalition, making sure that we had certified and insured tree removal, debris removal folks, and it's
so
a big
what
endeavor.
happens, like in your office at the United Way? You're at your desk. I believe it was a Wednesday. That you see some weather reports, bulletins on your phone. Do you spring into action?
We did. Actually, it was interesting. We were at a conference in Syracuse, a United Way conference, statewide conference. About half of our team and myself. And Sarah, who was on the show, everybody's phones started lighting up with the alert. And, about 20 minutes later, Sarah said to me, because she lives in Rome, and she said, hey, I just got word from some family that there's some pretty significant devastation. So I started going and rounding up all of our staff who were at the conference who live in Rome, and said, go home, make sure your families are safe. And then Jack and I and a few others sat down and just sat at the conference at the hotel till, I don't know, fairly late, just starting the Unmet Needs Fund and just starting that, cooperative work with other agencies to get immediate, help out to folks, and contacting all of our government officials and, really pushing out 211. That was the immediate thing that we did. We created that fund so that people could get access to money, but then pushing 211, because I know, I think a lot of people know about 211, but I don't think they know
Yeah,
the
well,
depth
we've
of
had
it.
Sarah on the show, but why don't you tell the listeners, for people that didn't hear that show, like what 211 is and how it works?
It's a great resource. It's you can call 211, the number, just like 911, for non-emergency needs.
So they just pick up a phone or take their phone out of their pocket.
You
and type
can
in
call
211.
You can text 898-211. You can go on the 211 website. We're part of Mid-York 211, and essentially find resources for anything.
Yeah.
It runs the gamut from I just moved here, I need a dentist, to I need tree removal, to I am on the verge of being homeless, or I have a significant food insecurity. It really runs the gamut, and so all the local agencies that are in support of people in the community enter into this database, and we keep their information up to date. So then, when they call in, the callers can refer people out. It's across. I even brought some stats here. United Way nationally for 2023 had 15.4 million calls.
Wow, to like the nationwide, to 211 programs.
So so nationally, there's 211 is in 97% of communities across the United States. So each has their own name or little hub, I guess, but everybody just calls that same number, 211. Right. So that's how many calls were placed nationally in 2023. And then the referrals are sent out from there. And here locally, we're working on a closed loop referral system, because what we'd like to do is not just send the referrals out, but we want to kind of stay in contact and make sure that
maybe a bit of follow-up.
Absolutely. And kind of provide that wraparound service to make sure that people are getting the services that they needed, and that something didn't just drop off, because really, just sending the referrals is kind of half of the game. We really need to make sure that people are getting the need.
Know what to do when they get the information. So, also, like when someone calls a number, there's always a live person.
365 days, 24/7. Yep, it's never closed. And I don't think people realize just the depth of the information you can find.
Right.
Out of curiosity, because I was testing it out, I sent over a text and just asked, where can I find a local dumpster, because I have a family member moving, and they were able to give me some names of agencies. And
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So like for people that maybe never have thought that they could make use of the services your agency provides. This is something that everybody can use at some point or another. So
yeah, absolutely, and it's paid for through legislative bills that are passed, and the majority of the calls have been this for a long time, actually, in the realm of needing housing, food insecurity, utility support, utility help with payments, public safety, and mental health. And now mental health has its own line, 988.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Is it also through United Way?
No, not technically.
No,
that's just another thing people can call. However, we still do get a lot of 211, gets a lot of mental health calls. So now our callers are trained in the mental health space, and we'll either refer out to our referral base or over to 988, depending upon what the call is related to, the severity, and so on and so forth. But the mental health space has, become such a crisis in our country that we've seen a sharp increase. And immediately after the tornado, we worked directly with the call center and created scripts for folks so that we could meet their needs. And every 20 minutes, we were updating scripts for probably the first couple of weeks. It was just
what
around
would you
the
put
clock.
into one of these scripts? Like how do you do this? Like you're at the conference in Syracuse on the day the tornado hits. You have to kind of triage a bit.
Yeah.
So you're sitting around a conference table with your team, and what do you actually do?
So then we call our call center, which is the Contact Community Center out in Syracuse. That's who we use. We outsource them. We call them and say, okay, this is what's going on.
And this is going to happen.
You're going to get a ton of calls probably about tree removal, about immediate shelter needs, transportation. So here's the script we want you to follow, and they've already got expansive scripts
for most things that could happen
for day-to-day things, but this was above and beyond.
Different.
So the first things we did was reaching out to our government officials, say, hey, get on your social media pages and remind everybody about 211,
right,
and then go to 211 to the call center and say, hey, here's how you're going to handle this influx of calls. And they did a phenomenal job, and it was a true team effort, and it was really impressive to see my team, who half of them live in those communities that were so affected, and so much so that
Sarah was one of those people.
Half of them didn't have power, or none of them. Well, I should say half of the team who live in Rome didn't have power at all
for long terms, for
a couple weeks.
Too.
And we had one team member who a tree went through her family's home, and despite all that, they were not just trying; they were working around the clock on their phones, and we were all texting each other and working around the clock. And that was a real testament to this team that we have at United Way.
So it's been at least it's been over a month now since it's happened. What is kind of in this intermediate period after the crisis? What kind of calls are you getting now? Like a month and a half out?
Now it's more about long-term housing needs. Yeah.
Has housing been permanently lost in the tornado?
For sure. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And the big issue that we really have in Oneida County, well, Herkimer County too, but, we just don't have, the supply doesn't meet the demand. Yeah. We just don't have enough housing to put people in. Right. And so it's us working in partnership with other housing related agencies and, trying to work with landlords and trying to find other resources to get people into these homes. And I mean, this has been an ongoing issue well before the tornado. It just, kind of put a spotlight on it for some folks, but this is an ongoing concern. And, at United Way, we are in the midst of a strategic plan and really looking at...
Why don't you tell us a bit about how you're you're starting to work up for your workplace, for people on the workplace to contribute to United Way. Can you tell us a bit about that program?
Yeah, so we're kicking off our workplace campaign on September 18th. And that's an opportunity that people can give to United Way through payroll deduction through their company. So, say XYZ company, we would have one of our representatives go in and explain about workplace campaign, how you can give through your payroll. Yeah. We typically have somebody at that company act as a representative and work directly with Cassandra in our office, who's our workplace campaign person. And Cassandra's great. She'll make the life super easy for the person in the company.
For the HR person who has to do the paperwork.
Every company chooses a different person. Yeah. And, it is a little bit of a lift for them, certainly. And so we're so grateful to those people and those companies who do that. Cassandra does a great job, trying to make it as simple as possible. But really what we're looking for, we have a lot of partners, companies and agencies who participate in workplace campaign. We raised about $1 million last year.
Wow, congratulations.
Our goal this year is 1.25. So we need new prospects. We need new companies who are willing to, get involved and I think I was saying to you earlier that there's no company is too small. Yeah. It all adds up. So I think sometimes people think, oh, well, we only have 20 people. It's not worth it.
So if someone's hearing this now, a company, they have a company or work for a company where they have a voice into, and they want to get involved, especially maybe with the tornado, maybe more people now want to be more community involved and stuff. Sure. What would they do? Who would they call and how would they contact you?
They'd call our office, ask for Cassandra. They could really call and ask anybody, hey, how do I get involved? And we'll get them to her. Any one of us, it's Cassandra's official role, but we're all deeply involved. We're a small enough shop that we're all, when it comes to this season with workplace campaign, we're all really involved. And, she can get them set up and we can go in and have a conversation and just explain to them what it is and how it helps,
What is it and how does it help?
Well, United Way is able to support 1 in 3 people in the community. Wow. Through our efforts and our collaborative partners.
So 1 in 3 people in the area that you serve has been helped by your agency.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It's a lot of people. And I don't think people really realize how widespread, we can make that difference. So if they want to be involved, they can just get in touch with us, and we can get them set up and get it going right away.
So once an employee decides to do this, it's set up where they have a deduction taken out of their paycheck without having to think about it or write a check each every pay period or do a Venmo or something like that. It's all just completely set up.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if somebody would rather, they say, hey, I just want to make a one-time donation. We're more than happy to take it. Right. But I think the ease of the payroll deduction is, something that is appealing to a lot of people. I mean, I do it. It's just, you start it, you forget about it, to be honest. And when you spread it out over the course of a year, you know, it really does add up and it makes a difference.
Yeah, and once Cassandra from your office goes to help people set it up, for the company itself, once it's probably set up, and let's make it pretty easily for them too.
It does, it is, you know, and we try to make it fun too. You know, we can go into companies and have like a small party, and you know, that's why we're doing this kickoff
the pep rally
event.
type
Absolutely,
thing,
absolutely, because it is fun, and in some companies they create competitions within each department. One department competes with another department. And, you know, I think people love a good competition.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And they,
yeah,
people get really wild about that. So, you know, sometimes if companies want to make it a competition and whoever wins gets, I don't know, like a vacation, extra vacation day or a pizza party or whatever they decide to do. Cassandra's great about brainstorming and helping people come up with ideas just to make it fun.
Right. So, like, what are some of the, you know, like your long-term strategic plans you're planning?
Yeah, so right now we are starting, we're kind of knee-deep into strategic planning and really looking at what's our vision, who do we want to be, and the very first step was gathering data. I'm a data junkie, you know, the numbers don't lie, and so it's great because with 211, we have a database it's an incredible source of information, but I didn't want to use just that in a vacuum.
Right.
So we did send out a survey to all of our community members, community partners, agencies, and ask them, hey, what do you see as the greatest need in the community? So compiling all that data, not really a lot of big surprises, but it really helps us hone in on exactly what the need is. I mean, we knew housing and food insecurity would be, you know, right there in the top two of what we needed to make sure we were continuing to support. We'll always be in the housing space. We'll always be, you know, supporting food pantries. But beyond that, what are the other things we can be doing to help? And we haven't completely decided yet. I'm not ready to publicly say, but
so you're still at the point where, like, you've gathered the information.
We gathered the information. We're meeting and we're analyzing it and kind of determining, okay, what's the best next step. And it's not about what I as the CEO think or even just the board think. It's what the community is telling us. Yes, absolutely. You know, we need to hear it from the community. What are your needs?
Is there anything that you've seen so far that is a bit surprising in the information, or something
the
like
one
maybe
piece that I
that
didn't expect to see as prevalent is the need for low-income families needing home repairs.
Oh, that's
yeah. So I mean, you think about it; it does make sense.
If you own your home, that's super expensive.
And I think with the cost of everything now, you know, material costs have gone way up. So that popped up as being a little bit of a higher need than I think.
So it'll help you to plan like how you can provide those services or provide that information.
Well, because with Workplace Campaign, we take that money that we raise, and then we have a committee that decides, you know, based on people applying for funding, how we get that money out in the community. You know, this last year we gave out just shy of $450,000 to multiple agencies. So the money goes right back into the community, and so. Part of what we're looking at with the strategic plan too is, you know, if we're looking at such a great need with housing and food, what are the underlying conditions that create those systemic issues? And then those are the things we should also target. So it's wraparound care.
The root causes.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's in the mental health space or substance abuse, you know, I'm not saying that's what we're going to focus on, but really looking at.
It's good that you're doing this, taking more of a holistic view of the things.
Because they're married, you know, homelessness and food insecurity and mental health are often married. Nothing is in a vacuum. So
home repair to homelessness, you know, car repair to no car to job. When we come back, we're going to talk to Charles Howard about rapping, being a digital creator. My guests today are Charles Howard and Sue Litera, the CEO and Executive Director of United Way of the Mohawk Valley. When we come back, I'm going to ask Charles about his career, how to become a rapper, how to create things digitally, and how to promote your work. I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday on 95.5 FM The Heat. More after the break. This is Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the hot seat on this Media Monday. I'm Ron Klopfanstein. My guests today are Sue Litera. She is the CEO and Executive Director of United Way of the Mohawk Valley. And Charles Howard. He is a digital creator and a rapper. He goes by the name Mr. Chat. So, Charles Howard, tell us first of all, digital creator. I love that. I mean, I'm one too. A digital creator. There's so much stuff we're creating nowadays that's digital. What do you make? What do you create?
Music.
What kind of music?
Music. Hip hop music. R&B music, just real life, real life music. I also have a clothing line as well.
Really?
Yes. It's been down for a little while.
Well, tell us about the music. Is that what you're doing like right now?
So I took a little break.
Yeah.
For
Well,
a
it's
little
good.
while. You know, took a little break from the music for a little while. I never stopped writing. I always stop. But
well, tell us your background. Like, how did you get into music in the first place?
I mean, my parents was music people. My
Yeah.
dad was in music. He was a DJ. So growing up, we used to have like little talent shows in the house.
Oh, that's what we did too. Yeah, I love that.
We'll pick your favorite song, learn it, and
like perform it.
Now when it's time when we have our little talent shows in the living room, and you have to do the song without the words.
Oh, okay.
So like I said, my dad was a DJ. He would pull up the acapella.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So you got to like perform as a kid.
You have to perform. You have to know all the words. You have to remember the words. There's no lyrics, just the beat.
That. Yeah.
And
so what were the songs that you sang as a little boy? What were your favorite songs back then?
Usher.
Oh yeah, great.
Usher, My Way. I ended up
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl halftime.
I ended up doing it at a talent show.
Yeah.
At John F. Hughes, 4th grade, and me and my friends, we wore red and black. We had red and black Jordans on, and we had made up this big dance, and we performed the song.
As a 4th grader?
As a 4th grader.
Oh, I love that.
Just the beat.
Yeah.
No lyrics.
Yeah.
We made up a dance, everything, and we ended up winning.
Wow.
You know, so, and then as years went on, I just kept doing that and got a little older, and
when did you start to write? Like your own stuff.
So I started writing when I first went to prison.
Okay. What did it do for you to write when you were in that situation?
It releases a lot of stress.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
You want to do other things.
Right.
But I have that gift, so
yeah.
When I get frustrated, things going on in the world and people talking and social media.
Yeah.
I just put it into the music. I let them hear it in the music.
So did it like help you get through that time in your life? And did you keep up with the writing?
Yeah. I still have all my notebooks from back then, 2004.
Wow, that's how many notebooks is that? Like how much do you like?
It's actually 10. Wow. 10 notebooks, 5 subjects.
So do you ever like reread that as inspiration for your music now?
Yeah.
What kind of things, like when you're rereading it, like what kind of things jump out at you? Like you're reading your own, your own journal from that time, your notebook books.
Yeah.
Like what is it that you see in that like inspires you? What sorts of things?
One is just the things that I wrote while I was in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a role model.
Yeah.
I'm a role model now. I've been a role model.
Right. Right.
Like I was telling, I have 16 kids.
Yeah.
So, just the motivation for me was like I look at these books that I wrote this in prison.
Right. Right.
So I don't want to, continue to write good music in prison for, Two, I have a whole lot of people looking up to me.
Right. Right.
Freedom, and like I said, I'm a parent. I'm a dad.
Yeah.
That's a lot of reason why I took off from the music for a little while.
Yeah.
But
what is it that you would like your kids to know? Like, what did you learn from that experience that you want to pass on to them?
Just now is they think doing what their friends do is cool.
Right.
That's or everybody's doing this and everybody, actually what's being cool right now is what we used to say back in the days of square. He's a square form.
Yep.
Them the cool people. Them the cool people. Me, I made mistakes. Everybody make mistakes, but I'm the mistake, and I haven't been in trouble in 12 years.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Like, how did you pull yourself together? Like, how are you doing so well now?
My kids. My kids. They're always my motivation. Always. You go anywhere, ask anybody. My kids, they're my motivation. You know, and I just knew that if I keep going to jail, what good am I gonna be to them?
Right.
They didn't ask to be here.
Right.
You know, I put them here.
So it must be a great feeling for you to know that you successfully gotten past that.
Yeah.
And is that something that you want to express in your music?
Yes, all the time. The past, current, things out there, things I went through. You know, nothing's fabricated, nothing's, it's all real life stuff. A lot of it, not proud of it. That's just.
But I mean, you're proud you overcame it. That's what matters. I mean, that's.
Overcame it big time,
Yeah.
A way different person. But the music, I love it. 20 years. 20 years.
Wow.
20 years.
So I've talked to a lot of people about like their process and how they actually come up with their songs, and some of the people I talk to, they approach it more like kind of like I suppose as like a writer. Like they look at the words and they come up with the words first, then the music kind of comes secondly. And for some people, they told me on the show, like they kind of think of the music first, kind of, and then the words they kind of apply it secondly after they put the music down. So for you, like if you're doing rap, with rap, do you always like, are the words more important than with other kinds of music because it is rap, or is it kind of the same as any other song? What's your process to write a rap song?
Wow.
I know that's a hard question, isn't it? Because it's kind of like saying, how do you write a book? You know, it's like, I mean.
But like you said, what they putting the words together, and they think they listening to the beat and they putting words together. They're just writing a song. They're just writing. Yeah. There's no concept to it. Music always has to have a concept. There's always a story to tell. You have to, no matter what it is, you have to paint a picture.
So kind of like, I'm thinking like, because I teach middle school ELA at JFK, so it's like we would talk about the central idea, like the point of the story. So like, what are some of the points that you made in your songs? And how are you able to do that with words?
It's just real life. Yeah. It's real life. That's the only way I can explain my music. It's always situations that's going on, stuff that I've been through. Yeah. It's just, that's all I can say is life. My life. Right. I turn it into my music.
You turn it into art, which is beautiful.
Creation.
Yeah. So now you got a song written, right? What do you do next? Like, how do you take that song? You have the words, you have the music maybe like in your head. How do you get it recorded?
Go to the studio, engineer. I have an engineer.
So like, how did you find your studio? Like if you're just getting started, what does a person do?
I mean, if you're just getting started, first of all, you want to find somebody that knows what they're doing. Yeah. You want to find somebody that can.
Jay-Z's nodding his head vigorously here.
You want your music to sound good. You want them. A lot of people. I've been to a lot of studios before, and a lot of people just the music sound good, even though it being my music. That's I know my voice shouldn't sound like that. Yeah. So once you find that right engineer and he knows how to craft your voice. That's just it, because now he knows what he's doing. Yeah. It takes time. Sometimes you'll fall into the right studio. Sometimes it takes a couple of times. It takes a little while to search around, But once you find that studio and you go in there, and me at home, that's my practice.
This
at home, I rehearse. Over and over and over and over again. So once it's time to go in the studio, I really have my phone or my notebook, but I'll practice it so much. I go in there, one take, get it done,
I think that's probably a really important point, though, too, for people that get into this business is like to, when you're in the studio, it's a lot of money. So you want to be ready to maximize your time.
You want to be, money is time.
Yeah.
And you want to be ready. You don't want to just write a song and say, yeah, I want to go in there and record.
Yeah. You want to be like ready to do it when you
go ahead, record, right? Keep it. Oh, you want to do another take? You want, okay. Another $100.
Yeah,
another $100. You know, me, I'm always showtime. When it's time for me to perform, I'm ready.
So you keep saying another $100. Like the point of like you have an idea for a song, you wrote the song. How much time and how much money does it cost? Like the time that you're in the studio. The point. What comes between you have a song and the song is on YouTube or Apple Music or Spotify, like how long are you in the studio to record it, and how long do you like engineer it, or do you pay an engineer to do that, or how does it work?
Engineer, so you pay for your studio time, the engineering, the mixing, the mastering, that all comes with your studio time. So you go in there, you record, you do your ad-libs, you do everything, you listen to it, you hear something you don't, he'll fix it for you, you know. Once I like that, that's okay.
Yep.
He'll sit there, he'll mix it, get all the extra noises, everything out of there, make your voice sound the way it's supposed to sound.
Yep.
Master it while you're sitting there, ask you questions, like, you like how this sounds, you like, you know.
Because they can change elements, right?
They can add, you know, sound effects, you know, anything. They'll make it sound how you like it, and once, you know, all that's done, that's, you know, here we go.
So what's your average, say, studio time? The time that you are paying to be there to make your music, or paying someone to engineer it for you. How much time do you think that would be on average for a song?
Usually when I go, I usually do 2 songs. So it'll be about 2 hours. Oh, and the 2 hours is mainly, most of that time is him mixing and mastering. Because like I said, when I go in,
you're ready to perform.
Yeah, I'm ready to perform. Yeah. One shot, you know, one take, and that's it. But usually, just, you know, about, you know, one song for me to record, an hour.
And like, who does the music parts with that? Because I've interviewed people I interviewed a guy who did a song like where he played his own guitar. He went to the studio on own idea. Like he played the guitar, he had a friend who played bass. Like it was those two.
Live.
Like with rap, what do you do? Like, do you have a like a synthesizer, or like?
So we have like beat makers.
Okay.
You know, things that make beats, and
like, do you have that program before you get in there to save time?
Yeah, it's already, you know, you come with your beat, you come with whatever you want to, you know, lay down.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah.
Like I said, you get in that studio, is
you're burning money.
Yeah, you're burning money. You're burning money, so you got to come prepared with everything. So usually I always come, I have a beat maker, so when it's time, I have my beat ready.
Yeah.
Go in there. Give it to him, or I'll probably even email it to him before I even get there, so he has it logged in already. Once I get there, he's already ready for me to go. Yeah. And you know, I don't like to waste time.
You got to be efficient.
Yeah, I don't like to waste time. I like to get it done.
Time is money. So.
Yeah, and put it out there.
So like, what do you like when you're done? You come away with this. Like within, like in a few days, like he'll like email you a finished audio file that you put up wherever you want to and stuff? Is that how it goes? Like
MP3 file.
MP3,
so you can.
And then like, is it up to you to put it like on Spotify?
You can go anywhere. Yep, you can go anywhere you want. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, iHeartRadio.
Amazon. There's so much.
Yeah.
So in the next segment, you know, I'm going to ask you. I think I'll ask you both. I want to ask you both. What advice would you give to someone who's in 8th grade, who wants to be a rapper, or who wants to work in an agency that helps the community? I'll ask you both about that for some advice on that. We'll talk a little bit more about music. We'll talk about the repairs in Rome and all the great things the United Way is doing when we come back from the break. My guests today are Charles Howard. He's a digital creator and rapper. And Sue Litera. She's the CEO and Executive Director of the United Way of the Mohawk Valley. When we come back, I'll ask them for what advice they have for eighth graders who want to either get into music or getting into work where they help the community. I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday on 95.5 FM. The Heat. More after the break. This is Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the hot seat on this Media Monday. My guests today are Charles Howard. He's a digital creator and a rapper, and he goes by Mr. Chat. And Sue Litera, she's the CEO and Executive Director of the United Way of the Mohawk Valley. So I'm going to go to you first. So you guys at the United Way, you have a TikTok channel. I think that's great because this is Media Monday. I'm all about the media stuff. So what are you using TikTok for at the United Way?
We just started it. We're just starting to create content. You know, we're trying to get to a different demographic, a younger demographic. Yeah. You know, I think
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I was saying before that, you know, my kids got me on it, and I was very much against it, and now I'm super hooked. And,
I know, me too.
You know, and they taught me how to create content, and you know, I do that personally. But you know, for United Way, we need to attract all audiences of all different ages and demographics. And, you know, I say the younger demographic, but here I am knocking on the door.
I was going to say, like, I'm doing it too. I'm 55.
Yeah, I'm knocking on the door 50. And, you know, I love it. So, I mean, it's a good way to capture a lot of people, good cross-section.
It really is, right. Yeah. You know, when it gets, you got to get your point across quick and short and fast, and that's kind of a good way to do things.
Well, and people, and now, you know, you have to get your point across quick, short, and fast, because nobody has the, you know, the energy for it. I mean, I don't have the
and there's just so much out there. There's so much media, so much stuff. It's hard to like filter through, you know. Yeah. So Charles, you know, what do you do to create? You're making content. What do you think about in order to think to yourself like, how do you? Here's my question. Let me try that again. What makes good content? So, like, you and I both, and Sue, you too, like with your TikTok channel for the United Way, we all think about this. Like, what kind of stuff do we make that people want to see, that's new, that's original, that's built their own brand? How do you approach that, Charles?
Again,
it's a tough one. I mean,
I always think about the kids.
Yeah.
I think about the kids. Like I said before, they're my biggest fans.
Yeah.
They're always around. When I'm writing, they're running through the house. If I'm in my room, try to close my door to get, you know, my little time.
Yeah.
Busting in. They're learning the songs. They're listening to what I'm saying, you know. So
yeah.
My biggest thing is make good music.
Yeah.
But I also think about what I'm saying. What, you know, because nowadays the music is crazy, and these kids know all these songs, and half the people that make the songs are parents. I just don't understand how you can allow your kid or another kid to sing that song.
Yeah.
You know, so I always think about, not even just my kids period, because I have a lot of other kids that love my music, you know, and they're singing it, you know. Sometimes if I get crazy, you know, I won't even play it around them. I won't let them hear me write it. I won't let
them, everything's for everyone.
You know, I won't let them hear that. You know, not play it in the car, none of that, you know. So, but most of the time, yes, I think about, and also I think about, you know, I want everybody to dance. Kids, young people, elderlies, you know, I want everybody to dance, bop, whatever, know the words, you know. So I'm just in consideration most of the time, you know, most of the time.
What works good for you in terms of getting your message out, your music out, your material out? You know, what's been effective for you in terms of building an audience? Like, has TikTok helped with you? As Instagram?
Like I said, I've been around for a long time. I've done a lot of performances, been on the road, cities, you know. So that was the main thing.
So you had a big audience.
Yeah, that's it's not as big as it should be.
But your goal is to kind of keep what you got.
That's what, you know, gain my audience.
What is your background in music? Like, what did you said you performed overseas too?
No, that's the only thing I have.
Oh, that's all you have.
Only thing I have.
But you performed a lot of, 20 years. You said
20 years.
How did you get in? How did you like get your start in the business? There's so many people, especially young people, that really have talent and want to do this kind of thing. But what people don't usually know, and I understand this, is what is the first step? What's the second step? So
the first step is you really want to know what you're getting into.
And how do you find out?
The music business is it's really tricky.
Yeah,
it's really tricky.
Media
so
too.
When yeah.
all big businesses I'm finding.
Like I said, I knew, from when I was also in the streets.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I knew I lost my basketball career to going into the streets.
Yeah.
I had to find something else to replace that, and also legit way,
Right.
I can't keep going to prison. I can't
Yeah.
keep doing,
Right.
these bad things, thinking that it's cool when I have people looking up to me.
Right.
What
do you say to people? Like, say, maybe, how do you advise like young people if you see them kind of maybe going on the wrong path? Like, what do you say to help them like kind of turn around or try to
it's all the
seek
time,
out something else?
It's all the time. My kids, my stepkids, kids I've known since they, just you don't want to live that life.
Right.
You don't, especially if your parents, even if every home's not together, most homes are broken. You just got mom.
Right.
But if that parent has always showed you the right way and showed you manners, respect, that's how you're supposed to live.
Yeah.
Don't go outside. You're one way in the house, but then when you go outside with your friends, you want to be gang, and that's not it. I'm telling you, when it crash, we tell them, I tell my kids all the time, when you fall on your face, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
They don't believe that it hurts when you fall on your face. So I tell them, like, listen, I've been there. And anything, trouble, streets, cops, shootouts, I've done that. I've done all that stuff. That stuff is not cool.
Right.
It's not cool, and at the end of the day, it's only going to be you or somebody else suffering. Listen, it's good to be good.
Yeah.
It's good to be good, because you go to jail, somebody died, you go to jail, gang, or those people that said they was your friends, they ain't putting money on the phone, they're not coming to visit you, they're not going to check your peoples or your kids to see if they okay, they're not doing none of that.
Right.
And then the other person that's lost, now they, your people's wearing you on a t-shirt, or we remembering somebody.
Right. Right.
Nobody wants to go through that. I have my troubles. I've been to prison twice. I got 2 drug felonies.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool.
Do you talk about this stuff like your shows to tell people out there to, hey, you can turn this around?
All the time you can turn it around. You can do what you want to do.
My favorite quote is from a movie called Vanilla Sky. Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around. I love that quote.
Somebody gave me.
You sort of embody that.
I was still in the streets and I got jammed up.
Yeah.
And one of my friend's parents put their house up for me.
Wow.
That was my second chance.
Yeah.
At life. That was 12 years ago.
Wow.
That was 12 years ago. because nobody else stepped up.
Yeah.
And, like, this is my friend.
Yeah.
But her parents was like, we see him. He's a good person. We understand people make mistakes.
Yeah.
And
you've turned it all around.
Turned it all around. Everything hasn't been peachy, but
right.
Yes, 12 years. I haven't seen.
I mean, that's the point. Everything hasn't been peachy. Life is so hard at times. Like, what do you tell your kids about keeping on? What do you tell your kids too about like how do you teach young people to be resilient and to like stick to it? It's tough.
It's tough. It's really tough. And I think that, I think every generation says this, but I really think it's harder for this generation of kids.
Yeah.
I think social media,
that's a big thing.
It's just made a huge factor, and it's not, they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
But, for my kids, I just tell them to always keep the faith. That you cannot lose hope. You can't give up, no matter how dark it gets, and it will get dark.
It get dark.
Yeah.
It will get dark, and it's just you don't wanna. I'm telling you, I've been there.
Yeah.
You don't wanna, and nowadays, in prison, gangs, all that stuff is bad now. It's not the way. I mean, it's always been bad, but it's worse now, and nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through. You can be the hardest person, gangster, whatever. Life is lovely, boring, broke, homeless. Any moment you want to turn it around, you can turn it around, and that's what my music always been about.
I was gonna say that should be a song
life,
itself.
everything.
That is so true.
I can.
So let me ask you both the 8th grade question. So like my 8th graders, like Sue. So if someone says like, when I grew up, I want to do something where I'm helping people. I want to run an organization. Do the kind of thing that you do. What advice would you give to them to prepare to?
Yeah, I mean,
I
would tell them to start volunteering.
That's good advice.
Think about the things that you're passionate.
United Way, I imagine.
Sure. Or just think about the things that
all
you're
your
passionate.
agencies that you have.
Yeah, what are you passionate about? And if it's the elderly, volunteer in a nursing home. If it's children, what is your passion? And but doing them in several different places.
Yeah, that's good.
And then you can kind of really whittle it down that this is what I think I want to do. And a lot of times people go into this work because they've had their own past trauma that they're trying to work through by helping other people.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And if it heals you while you're helping heal other people, that's a
that
win-win.
experience will give you great insight into other people's troubles too.
And listen, volunteering, fills your soul.
Yeah.
It just does.
Right.
So.
And it's a really good way too to it can often lead. I tell young people this too a lot. I teach college too. It can often lead to jobs. And it's a really good way to get your foot in the door.
Great networking.
To offer to do something for free. You get to know the people that work there, and they can see that you're a good worker, and they see you work for free. Then when a job opens up, you're right there.
Yeah, it's great. It's great networking.
Look how we met.
I know exactly. Right. So now, what's your advice for an 8th grader? I want to be a rapper. So what do you tell them? Well, okay, here's what you do first.
First of all, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Music is tricky nowadays with the generation. Everybody wants to be something that they're not. Everybody wants to have things that they never had.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
What do you say to kids? One thing that people sometimes they say to me, when you put work out there, and I put work out there, I promote the stuff I do here, on Instagram and TikTok and all that. And sometimes you put stuff out there, and a lot of people like it, get hundreds of likes, and it's exciting. And sometimes you do your best work, and people don't even care.
It just goes by.
But you got to keep going.
You got to keep going.
That's what
Never,
how do you get that across?
Yeah. Keep faith.
Yeah.
Keep faith.
And age is not a number. Remember, so you got to bring that up. Right.
Age is only a number.
Well, and you can't be defined by the number of likes either.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really hard for younger people.
Because everybody has their group. Everybody has their fan base.
Yeah.
If you're not a part of that, you don't win.
It's I wrote a story one time for this Utica Phoenix. I went to the Eclipse at the library. I wrote a story 2 paragraphs long about this older lady who's at the Eclipse, this funny lady, people loved it. 1,300 people read this story. Then I'll do one that could take weeks of research. It's maybe get to 200. I also try to get to 500 at least. But it's you got to just keep going. It doesn't matter. You tell them that right. You start a new account, you start TikTok, you have how many followers you have? None. But you start from 0 and you go to 1, 3 and 20 and
see new opportunities, new opportunities and things, but you just never give up. My life has been ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. I'm 38. I've been doing for myself since I was 10 years old. I had parents, my parents was around.
Yeah.
But they were back then. It was being
right.
It was part of it.
Yeah.
I love them to death. My mom's gone. You know, I miss her to death. Her only kid. My dad, he's here. We spend a lot of time. I love him to death.
That's great because he got you in music.
You know, yeah.
He must be so proud of you now. How well you've done.
You know, just that for anybody that want to do something, just never give up. Just keep going.
You know, one of the good things too about being a writer too, like, and you know this,
That's
like
we
don't need stuff. Like all we need is a paper and a pen, or like I just open a Google Doc and just start to type, and you just do it. You know, which is kind of nice in a way because like, you know, when you get to that studio time, then you got a lot of money. But like the writing, you can work on it for free. You know,
and like you said, it's basically it's poetry.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what rap is. Poetry. Yeah. So let me ask you both. Like, what's first of all, how can our listeners find out more information about things you're talking about? All the stuff that you tell us, I'll put it in the show notes at uticaphoenix.net/Media Monday. Whatever this date is, I'll have it up by Wednesday. But tell the listeners, like, how can they find out more about the United Way and about what you're doing?
You know, our website, unitedwaymv.org, or on all of our socials, you know, United Way MV. They can call in to us. Just, you know, check us out. Yeah.
Charles, like, how can people find your music? So let me see if I got it. Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora.
iHeartRadio, TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok. I need some new TikTok fans. Please get that up.
It takes a while. I'll tell you how it works. You get you have no followers, then you have hundreds. You know, like it goes.
Yeah, I just told my daughter to get her and her friends. We got my music up there. Go, y'all make TikToks to everybody else's songs. Go ahead and start doing some dances to these songs.
Exactly.
You know, help that out.
Right.
Hey, I got a team. Everybody could participate.
And it's kind of crazy too, in the way, like I was telling my guest, I think Luke Radel, I think he was last week, that like with these shows, like you have the listeners that listen to it now, then the people will watch the whole thing on YouTube in a few days. But then I think what people see the most from these shows, I always cut out like 2 short reels of really interesting 90-second bites, you know, and that's what people get the most of.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like how it goes nowadays. You do you create a lot of stuff, and people see like maybe this much, but you got to be happy with that. You know, that's your audience, and you got something.
It's a hook.
It's a hook. Yeah, and you build and you put out I think the best advice I always give people if they ask me to be successful is just do your best work consistently.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, work hard. You know, even if it's 10 minutes of the day. You know, something that you like. You know, just put forth. You know, I always tell myself that I try to take on too much at once. So I just started. I just started trying to break everything down one at a time, so I don't frustrate myself and make it more harder than what it is.
And it can be hard to break it down when you're an artist, because we get inspired and we want to do all this stuff.
I want to do all this stuff, and like I said, over 20 years, I've been connected with big people. I've had chances to be in the industry. I lost a lot of opportunities not knowing the things that I know now, or the mind frame that I have now.
But more will come.
More will come. More will come. We'll never give up.
Never give up. Keep going. So, last words from both of you. Sue, any last? How can people get involved and help the United Way and therefore help their community?
Yeah, I mean, I think volunteerism, donations, both are greatly needed. Mm-hmm. And if it's not United Way, just get out there in your community and help in some way. There's a lot of need, and it does. It feeds your soul, and we at United Way, we certainly have multiple committees that we can use help with, and coming in and we just did a back to school backpack drive where we had a bunch of volunteers helping. We sent out 150 backpacks for kids in Rome,
nice.
We're going to do something similar in Utica City school districts around the holidays, where we're going to be doing the backpack drive with food and recipes and kind of helping to teach those kids this is why eating this way is important and that kind of stuff.
If I can help with that.
That's
really great. Yeah. Charles, any last words? You're very inspiring. I think everything you guys both have said has been great. Your stories are amazing.
Especially in Rome. I got a lot of family in Rome. wife and stepkids' living room. So
it's kind of like we all like identify with Rome now because of what happened, and that's kind of a nice thing, you know. That we all
also just helping the homeless, helping people that need help.
Right.
No matter what the situation is, everybody go through trials and tribulations. You have bumps. That's what life is made of.
A lot of people are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless.
Absolutely.
So I don't think people realize that. It doesn't discriminate.
You know,
Absolutely.
It can be taken away at any given second.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here. I'm going to have all the information we talked about, including the links on our show notes at uticaphoenix.net. Next week, my guest will be actually someone from Connected Schools in Rome to talk about that. And we have a bunch of shows coming up. We are going to have some people from Cabaret or Rome Community Theater. Rocco LaDuca from Talk of the Town will be my guest on the last show of the month, and they'll be coming up. So meet me in the hot seat every Monday at 5 o'clock on 95.5 FM The Heat. I'm going to kick things over right now to Jay Easy for the Easy Ride Home.